will take all pictures for fun.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Jeffrey.
Hello, hey, long
Hi.
time no see.
Yeah, no time no see.
Okay. Got any more thing or not?
Still early, yeah?
Huh?
Still a bit early, yeah?
Still early? Yeah,
Okay.
No worries.
Okay.
Any more thing? Fine.
Thank you for organizing.
Welcome, welcome.
Yes.
Oh.
I will go take all pictures for fun.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Jeffrey.
Hello, hey, long
Hi.
time no see.
Yeah, no time no see.
Okay. Got any more thing or not?
Still early, yeah?
Huh?
Still a bit early, yeah?
Still early? Yeah,
Okay.
No worries.
Okay.
Any more thing? Fine.
Thank you for organizing.
Welcome, welcome.
Yes.
Oh.
Punctuality.
Hi, GP. How are you?
不会，因为我们看达曼沙拉赢这么多，也是因为伊斯兰的上一届没有在达曼沙拉，所以我们一直觉得伊斯兰可能到底是去
Inshallah. Oh yeah.
Welcome, Gobin.
Hi. All right.
Remember Indra?
All over. This was like all over.
Oh, that's local.
Sorry. Are you? You're journalist? Okay.
Those who are attending is across the road at the Sekolah La Salle. If you park your car anywhere, introduce the gentleman at the table. From my left, I'm Ben Thompson from MyPJ. From my left is chairman of MyPJ, Jeffrey Pang. Next to him is the candidate for Barisan Nasional, Tan Gin Tuan, or GT, as it's more popularly known. Next to him is candidate from Pakatan Harapan, Mr. Gobind Singh Dio. And finally, the gentleman on my extreme right is from Perikatan Nasional, Mr. Lim Si Ching. Very quickly tell you what we're going to be doing. Okay. First thing is, we're going to do a speed round. Just imagine speed dating. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. I will not introduce you. You introduce yourself. 2 minutes.
Hi, my name is Lim Si Cheng. I'm 30 this year. I've just resigned from my full-time job to fully commit to this election. But anyway, I have a side business which I'm doing, selling electrical appliances and also renovation. I also want more youth to participate in the politics, because politics is everyday life, and I want everyone to participate in politics and make sure they care about politics because it affects their life.
He switched it off, so
I'll give you 3 seconds more.
Okay. Thank you very much for this invite. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to all of you. My name is Gobind Singh Dio, and of course I am candidate for Parliament Damansara, B106. Before this, I was the MP for Puchong for 2 terms. I'm also the chairman of DAP Selangor. I'm the national deputy chairman of DAP Malaysia. Held certain positions in government before. Minister of Communications, a lawyer by profession, back into practice now. And of course, in my practice, take on a lot of controversial cases, things that need to be dealt with, and of course, I think the challenges that we face in voicing problems outside sometimes accumulate into court cases, and of course, the challenge is taken up there. Insofar as I'm concerned, I think the most important thing about Parliament is the need for us to be a voice for the people. This is crucial because at the end of the day, when it comes to transparency, particularly looking at what it is our government is doing and how it is we're going to do it, and making sure that at all times whatever is done is transparent, and of course there's accountability, then that particular voice in Parliament becomes essential. So work in Parliament, of course, in terms of us looking at what the government is doing, that's one side of it. The other relates to policy. There are many aspects that we need to think about. And we need to formulate what we think the policy direction should be, because governance is not just about today and tomorrow. Governance is about what we are going to see in our constituencies and in our states, in our country, in the next 10, 15 years. So these are things that I think we need to look at. I don't know what to say, but I heard that. In addition to that, of course, there's a lot of work to do on the ground, meeting constituents, understanding what their concerns are, voicing those concerns.
Yang bertanding dalam kawasan Damansara untuk memberi pandangan dan pendapat mereka. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. Elections are very important because we're going to choose someone who will represent you and work for you. Now today I have home ground advantage because this is my school, La Salle PJ, primary and secondary. Now why am I contesting? Very simple. I think for me, PJ has deteriorated over the years. He has gone for the worst. Alright? And over the past week, when I went to the ground, turun ke peringkat account B, confirmed my feeling and my belief that the people down there are not happy because the delivery system and the service from the elected representatives, that's why I'm here. few days ago, I was with the Damansara Jaya Residents Association. We talked about PJ dealing. I'm sure my PJ also talked about PJ dealing. It's toll highway that cuts across Damansara. Now, the only way out. A lot of people just take out play cards, say no to TDEX, say no to PJ dealing. But there must be solution to it. We all must be solution based. Alright? So what I suggest is, if I get elected as an MP, if I get elected, I will sponsor an MP public referendum. So that at the end of the day, the contractors will have to come up with all the facts and figures. Alright, how are they going to finance it? How is this highway going to benefit PJ residents, Damansara residents? Alright, and let all of you, including myself, decide yes or no. If it's a yes, we present it to the state, to the local government, and to the federal government parliament. Alright? If it's no, same thing also. And then let them decide. At least our voice is heard and our voice is respected. Thank you.
Thank you, Titi. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, very often we come to forums like this and we want to hear what the candidates problem, and MyPJ part of it also was one of the organizations which published Manifesto Rakyat. You know, voters have been tired of listening to what political parties publish as their manifesto for us, and then we talk about, you know, the difference between expectation and actual delivery. And that is why one of the things that GBM did was to publish the Manifesto Rakyat. So today I'm going to invite Jeffrey Park, Chairman of MyPJ, to present shortly on a selected number of manifesto requirements that reflects PJ and Damansara voters' aspirations for GE15.
We want to work together to make PJ a different place, all right? But nowadays, things are so complicated, so multi-dimensional. You've got climate change, you've got you know, the virus coming in and all. Things are really quite havoc, no? Not only for PJ, but for everywhere else. So in PJ, we are very mature, developed township in the city. We want to achieve sustainable development goals, to be a livable city. But we believe we need a different approach. So that's why I thought it was very important for us to very quickly let the candidates know that should you be elected, this is what we're hoping that will be for us. So I'm sorry you have to turn around to see.
Yeah.
Segregation of B40 and 40 areas, lack of transportation, developers crowding around prestigious area, TOD catering just for the higher-end condominium and all. So quite a lot of things like JMB and COB, all are systemic problems. So we do not want to be talking about, can you help me solve TDEX problem? Can you help me solve my condominium problem? The whole list. But usually there is a break somewhere along the line, either the council is not cooperating or Adun is not cooperating, and you cannot solve a problem without everybody cooperating. So I think the MP have a very big important role to play, because MPs normally have about 3 Aduns under them. So we need to be caring, and we will do our part. To the MPs, we are telling you, we will be a community Prihatin. Now we want a Kerajaan Prihatin that will actually work with us. So if you look at World Urban Forum, they say that you need to strengthen local governments. There must be continuous dialogue, there must be participation, inclusive partnership. All these are already there in paper, but never in implementation. So what we need now is we need the MP, the ADUN, and the councillor to work together. And right now we're having a lot of problems. The councillors belong to 3 different parties, and now they are not cooperative before. In 2008, they sit and discuss. But right now, they are not working together. As a result, MPPJ is having field day. They don't make complaints. You go to MPPJ to make complaints. And that is what we want to achieve this term. That we get the system right, and who is cooperating with us and who is not cooperating with us, we have got to monitor. And of course, the MP, strictly speaking, they are supposed to look after the federal government, passports for the federal government. But I'm so sorry, as long as the system at the bottom is not going right, you've got to help us. Okay, you've got to set whatever you need to set up on top, on the federal side, then work on with your partners in the same party or other parties, work with your ADIN, and then integrate the things into PJ. So this is the whole of society approach that they are wanting to do about one particular problem like KIDEX, D40, eradication of poverty. We see the whole problem as systemic. So we want to actually work together this time, and we hope that the MP will get the ADUs to cooperate with us, and the councillors especially. And we would like to have our own councillors, public election of councillors. So I hope this is the message that we will get to the MPs, and of course, we'll see how you all stand on different issues as well. But thank you so much for coming here to listen to us. That this is what our PJ wants: a systemic, structural approach to solve all our problems, where we will not run to the ADUN or the councillors to solve the problem, but MPPJ to solve our problem. Thank you.
You will also be part of the problems at community level, and of course that it extends to NGOs, it extends to state agencies and councils as well. So when I was MP in Puchong since 2008, I've always made it a point to make sure that we are also connected to what goes on at BPJ level and state government level. So it's very important for us to work together with the ADUNs that we consult to understand what the problems are, how we can deal with it. And that's something that I've done from the start. So it's always the case that problems will be there. Those that can be resolved will be resolved. But those that require our attention, then of course we make time and make sure that we are able to find solutions to those problems. PJD link, of course, KIDEX earlier was an issue. I think for all of you here, if you look back, when KIDEX was an issue, I was one of the main persons at the front of it, what they call opposing it. And in terms of PJD link as well, I've said, we've actually issued a statement on this. If PJD link is something that reflects or is similar to KIDEX, then of course our position is that we do not agree to it. We object to it. So I've been very clear about this to them. In fact, it's in writing. So that is my position. But we have to understand that when you look at development, you're not looking at the impact it's going to have on you in a year or two, or during the time of development alone. You're looking at how it's going to impact on the community and those surrounding areas in the next 5 to 10 years, maybe 15 years. So I think policy is important. I think when you talk about development, you've got to understand that sustainable development is something that matters, something that means a lot, particularly to communities that are very, very alert to the fact that there are changes these days that can cause a lot of problems climate-wise. In Puchong, we face severe floods. I think in December last year, if you remember, floods and some places water up to 10 feet. People suffer. People have to actually shift. They are relocated to day ones, schools. Then subsequently, when they come back, there's a lot of damage. You've got to think about how they're going to recover and build themselves back up. So it's something that we need to take seriously, and we need to find solutions to these problems. So I think in moving ahead, number one, if you look at a place like Damansara is large, and of course the numbers of it's populated, it's heavily populated as well. So different areas are going to have different challenges, different areas are going to have different problems. What is important is to make sure that we engage. So if there's an area with a particular problem that needs you to assist or to provide solutions, then that's something that you need to do. This is where it is divided into two parts. You have PBT, you have state, and you also have instances in which you will require assistance from federal agencies. And this is where I think MPs are important. Of course, you can approach the agencies directly. Most of the time we find that we actually find a solution that is something that is acceptable to all. I think that's what we are trying to get at. Development is something that is going to continue. That's something that we see and we know. Traffic is a major problem. All of us who live in this area, I live in Section 12, so I know it's a huge problem. And again, of course, with the climate problems we have today, it's something that we need to deal with. So, my position is, looking ahead in Damansara, we must accept and acknowledge the fact that development is going to pose a problem, traffic will pose a problem, climate change is going to be an issue that we need to deal with. These are the general aspects that we need to tackle, be it in the form of PJD link, KDEX, or what have you not, the floods that we see now. I think these are things that you need to sit down and deal with, and you need to have a plan moving forward and how you're going to deal with it. But I take the point that you raised just now. What is required is to make sure that we have a transparent system whereby if there's a problem and the community decides to push ahead with solutions or suggestions towards resolving the problem, then there is the necessity for us to ensure that views are taken into account, and of course, to the extent that we possibly can, try and implement things so that the communities, the views are taken into account and dealt with. So I think that's in a broad nutshell what it is we need to do. But moving ahead, as I said earlier, there's also this large role to play in Parliament. Parliament is the forum by which Parliament deals with two broad areas. One, of course, voicing out the issues of the people that need to be raised. The other, of course, I said earlier, is policy. And a lot of these things that we talk about that not just deal with PJ or Damansara or the areas surrounding it, but everywhere else in Malaysia. I think policy is important. How are we going to deal with problems like this? Because these are problems that are going to affect other areas as well in the years to come. So direction is important. And these are things that we need to talk about. And I think at the end of the day, the federal ministries do play an important role. What are the plans? If you look at the floods, this is not just a state problem. It, of course, occurs in different parts of the state. But this is something that occurs nationally. And you see huge impact, the huge impact that it has. So we need to think about how it is at parliamentary level we can formulate policies so that we can deal with this. Perhaps also in thinking ahead when there are development projects that are brought forward and proposed, how it is you can ensure that problems like this, climate change and what have you not, are also dealt with and taken into account before approvals are given. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think by and large, that's in a nutshell what we need to be doing. My friend says that he has been around and been told that people are unhappy. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I've been around, listened to a lot of views from many people, and of course, there are people.
So maybe let me put it this way. Just taking PJD link, I think those of you living in those areas as well as representatives of the groups which are against it, I think you're all very relieved and happy. You know, we have a photograph of you holding the Banta PJD link, which is good. But as voters, and this is a very maybe a critical view of the events, 2 out of 3 MPs who took a stand in the last few years against PJD link publicly came down, stood with the people, stood for the wishes of the people. They were dropped and they are not standing for elections. Right? One of them is from your party, one of them is from PKR. So, secondly, the Pakatan Harapan government in Selangor, as much as MPs took a stand against PJD link, the state government itself, from the Besar governments, did not do that. In fact, they talked about approvals that had been given. So, if you are elected as an MP, how would you reconcile this? Because clearly, while you are taking a personal stand against PJD link, not everybody in your team is doing that. What comfort, what assurance can you give voters that this is something that won't happen if you can give that assurance?
Thank you for the question. First and foremost, I would like to again reiterate my position. And as I said, I think it's the 3rd of September last year, 3rd of September, he has the statement, so he knows. There was a statement issued by Pakatan Harapan Selangor, and I signed on it together with Izam and Besar, in which we have taken a position that if it is an attempt to resurrect anything that's in the shape or form of KDEX, then we are opposed to it. I think that position is something that I've taken, and I stand by it. And I think the other two who have signed on it as well. In addition to that, I think all of you also remember, again I repeat, when it came to KDEX, I was at the front of it, and of course I was trying to, at that point in time, get them to shelve the project which eventually happened. My position is this: we need to carry on. We need to carry on opposing, voicing, pushing ahead with reasons as to why it is this project should not be approved. Now, it's well and good to say that we want to put up a forum and this, that, the other, my friend has said, but that basically means that you're not taking a position. I think what is important is for you to take a position. Now, I may not necessarily get it my way, but what is important is that I'm prepared to stand up and be the voice to state what our position is. And I think that's important for a start. As I said earlier, you can go ahead, they come back with some other suggestion, completely different. That's all for us to see later on. But at this point in time, what we are told is that it is substantially the same. And if that is the case, then of course my position remains. And I can give all of you here my assurance. I mean, I'm going to give you an assurance, it's already in writing. That's a position that I will take what we call moving ahead. So you can rest assured that when it comes to this issue, I'll try my best to see whether or not we can get the state government to acknowledge the fact that there is huge opposition. And I think you must understand why people are opposing it. If you are a person affected and it is supposed to go right past your house, or if you are a person who's affected and there's a chance that one of your property will be acquired, then of course you would have concerns about it. And I don't think it's unfair for you to stand up and say that you're against it. Facilities in the area, so we can make sure that we can move ahead without the need to build structures like this, and of course face the objections that we see. Then I think these are things that we need to take up. And you need to have an elected rep that is able to understand the problems that the residents face, resonate with them, and then take those views to those who are responsible for making decisions and to press ahead with the argument. This is something that you need to do. So my position differs from perhaps my two friends here. I've taken a position and I understand the reasons behind it. I can follow it. And in the event there's a need for us to go ahead, push ahead with that position, and of course to go to those people who are making decisions, I will do that. So that's what I can say to all of you now. My position is carried and of course subsequently, if elected as an MP, then rest assured that when the need arises, there is a need for us to push ahead, go and explain our position, register our objections, and see whether or not we can get them to what we call understand it, and of course make a decision that's suitable to what it is we want. I will be there, and I will be very happy to help you take that position through.
Thank you so much, Govind. One add-on question to that before you go. It's been something that we've talked about for so long.
Sure.
But Pakatan has been in Selangor now for 15 years.
Yep.
But we have not progressed at all. If anything, we seem to have regressed. Even the number of non-political party appointed councillors has reduced.
Right.
What would you do to make that change?
Our position is that this is a DAP position. We have stated it very clearly that we would like to have local government elections, but of course that's not something that has happened yet. I think that's something that we need to keep pushing on. What is important is for us to make sure that we are able to strengthen local councils. We're looking at how it is you can adopt measures so that there's more transparency, more participation, making sure that problems are not just adequately but quickly and efficiently dealt with. So it's really questions about the purpose behind and what you call elections for councils as well. What do you want to achieve? DAP's position has been that we're pushing for local council elections, but we need to keep pushing for that. And I think hopefully as we go along, not only do we look at pushing for local council elections itself, but also at the same time strengthening the institutions, as I said earlier.
Great, thank you very much. A round of applause for Govind.
Ladies and gentlemen, I really do apologize. I have another function.
GBM together with MyPJ has come up with an MP profiling page, and GT and in front of you, you have those placards, right? Could you help yourself to one set? Yes, they all say this, it's more or less the same thing, and you can show the audience. So it says no, maybe, and yes.
On or not? No. Oh, yes. Yes and no. This one looks like Maybank.
Okay, the website is actually mymp-profile. Yes. Okay, and your stand on it. Just choose that placard, right? Now, of course, it's all video recorded. So we will. Fantastic. You hold it and then you just stick. Okay.
At least 1/3. Okay.
Fantastic. Next question. Separate the function of the public prosecutor from that of the Attorney General.
Yes.
Yes.
Item number 4.
Okay. Next question. Empower a parliamentary select committee to scrutinize the appointment of MECC and Election Commission. Great. Set up an independent police complaints and misconduct commission. Okay. Enact a right to information law and abolish laws that suppress freedom of expression.
Yeah, that's why I say public referendum.
Yes. Ensure quality education, focus on raising teachers' professionalism, increase accountability, and promote inclusive education. Yes, fantastic. Number 7, prioritize health by raising the health ministry's budget so that it exceeds 4% of GDP within 5 years.
Sure, yes lah.
Number 8, support a social inclusion act and progressively transform to needs-based measures. Expand agricultural areas for food cultivation, give smallholder farmers a lease of at least 20 years. Declare a national climate emergency and protect all forests in line with Malaysia's commitment to the 1992 Rio Declaration. Okay. Number 11, there's only 3 more. I support amendments to Article 14(1)(b) of the Federal Constitution to ensure that overseas born children of Malaysian women are able to obtain citizenship by operation of law. Will you encourage the government at all levels to adopt SDG 2030 and to work holistically in partnership with all stakeholders?
Item number 97 of the agenda.
I support having political appointees in GLC companies.
If they are qualified. If they are qualified. I'm not in any GLC, but if they are qualified, why not? If they are not qualified, even your non-political also cannot appoint. Correct or not?
So you have to choose your answer, GT. Out of the 3 there.
Should be maybe lah. Sounds like a maybe.
Maybank. Okay.
When elected, I'm willing to declare my assets.
Now also I declare.
Yeah.
Mine very simple. Yeah.
Okay? Alright. Alright, great. Thank you very much. So now we go back to your... so again, you all have had the advantage of hearing Professor Jeffrey talk about the residents' perspective. So now I'm going to give each one of you 5 minutes to present your vision as a candidate, your vision and your action plan, how you're going to bring about these things into reality for them. Alright? Can I invite GT to go first? Okay, sure.
let me state my position on PJ dealing. I'm against it, alright? But at the end of the day, I want every one of us here know that for every resident of Damansara, you must know what PJ dealing is all about. That's why I suggested this public referendum, so that the contractor will have to come up with all the facts and figures. Now they say that as long as it's not in the form and shape of KIDEX, what is the form and shape of KIDEX? Do we know? We also don't know. How many rams and all that, right? So if I change 3 rams out of 20 rams, is it still the same? So I think all these things, you must be transparent. This is part of good governance. So let the people decide after they have seen all the facts and figures. That's very important. And this is not something new. When I suggested MP-sponsored public referendum, it's not the same thing. It's not only for what? It's for the whole development process, because when PJ was declared a city in 2006, 20th of June, Bandaraya PJ diisytiharkan. Alright, 2 things. Number 1, public participation. Number 2 is development must be based on guidelines. Guidelines only, yeah? Sometimes the others cheated us. Oh, just because developer fulfill the guidelines, we must give the approval. That's very wrong. Because whatever it is, the first thing that comes in this development process is public participation, you and me. Because we have to decide what can and what cannot be built in front of our houses. Correct, you know? That's it. Public participation. Alright? So I just want to ask whether people are consistent at the end of the day. Because if you say no to PJ dealing, no to KIDEX and all that, remember, before the federal government signed the concession agreement with the concessionaire, the state government must give the approval. Then I raised the question, is the promise for toll is still on or not? No toll then. So is it still on? If it's still on, why is it that the state government under Pakatan Harapan still agree in principle for this PJ dealing to go on? To me, that's a question that everyone has to answer. Alright? A simple cup of coffee has local government, has state government and federal government element into it. You cannot separate. It's not like water and oil. Everything is interrelated. Everything is interdependent. That is the law, basic law of nature. Never forget that. Alright? Only those who are lazy and don't want to work, just because they don't want to work, they say this is not my jurisdiction. Wrong. Because that's why as an MP, I go to the ground. I want to know what you think is important for you, and I'll solve the problem for you. Correct? Because this Damansara is the place I live. This is where we live. That's why we are here, correct? And we have to do it together. Let the people's voice be heard. Be respected, at least. Alright, I stay in section 16. These fellas, they want to put out a 56-story in front of my house. How can? Shanti is here, right? Where is public participation? And they send us to a wild goose chase, all the way to Shah Alam for public complaints. When the councillor, the ADUN and the MP can solve the problem. What a farce then these all things. It's wrong. It is very, very wrong. You make people look like fools. And you know why this is happening today? Let me tell you why. Because the member of parliament, the state assemblyman, and the councillor, they're all from the same party. And we Damansara folks have given them the overwhelming majority for the past 3 terms. They are slack and sloppy today. They treat us like dirt actually. Okay? So this coming 19, for Damansara, you choose me in. You put one Barisan National in as a member of parliament, everybody will wake up. Middle of night they will call you. Everybody will do something. They will check and balance us. I will check and balance them. And you know who's the real winner? All of us here today. Alright? Do that on the 19th. Teach them a lesson. Sorry to say this. He's my friend, he's my friend. But choose me in, I will make sure they wake up in the middle of the night to attend to all of you. Running around like fools sometimes, send us to Shah Alam. And you know what? Sipak Rudy, look into that. Wrote letters to the YB, the councillor, to the MP, never responded. Action lah. I lost my deposit. They will not lose. Because we give them again and again and again and again. Alright, and they treat you like that. Sipak residents, middle income, senior citizens, Now look what's happening in front of them. Where is public participation? We went twice. Before the 3rd round, approved. I spent 4,000 ringgit, alright, my personal money with some friends, to do a traffic impact assessment survey because we are not happy with what MBPJ produced to us. Alright, just study one traffic light in front of KFC. Alright, and they say everything is okay. You must study SS2. 4,000. I told them, give us a chance. Give the residents a chance. Aren't these your responsibilities? Correct enough? No, they approve it. Very rude, very rough to me. That's why I'm standing here today to tell you guys. Give us this check and balance thing. Don't give them the same color lah. One blue, one red, very nice one. Correct enough? What's wrong? The mind is thinking when you see different colors. Every time the same color, it doesn't work. Alright? So let's start moving. Tell the people out there, you want good service? Check and balance. Competition is good. Healthy competition is good. We call it persaingan politik. It's very, very important. Alright? So don't talk and talk and talk and all that. Corruption, this and that. You want to stop it? Start from Damansara. Do the public referendum. Stop the corruptible environment. That's when corruption will stop. Alright? Not talking. Not taking videos and all that. Shouting left, right and center. 5 minutes again.
I'm giving you more because you're Lasallian like me. No. Because we have more time, right? We're about to finish at 2:30. So I think we can take a bit more time for them to present their action.
Teach them the lesson, right? 5 years later, they improve. Better than MCA? Good lah. But even if you don't support MCA, you don't support DAP, you are so-called non-partisan, you are the real winner. Because everyone will be rushing to your doorstep to give you your best service. Correct, no? We have to think rationally. Alright? If not, then it's okay. Everybody is free in this democratic world. You can say what you want, think what you want. But decide what. I think we have to respect people's voice, people's decision. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So Sijing, you have 7.5 minutes
Okay, thank you very much.
to present your vision and your action plan.
Mr. GT and Mr. Govind, they are lawyer and they are really, really good public speaking. And my public speaking skills is not that good. And it's also my first, second, third chance speaking in front of so many people. Thank you for your courage. Not attack, because that's not healthy. As a young candidate, I want to promote positive campaign. We talk good things, promote policies, promote solution. Alright. Okay. Come to the local council election, local elections. I fully agree with local election because I want the people, I want the local community to have authority and power to control whatever they want in their community. Not people who are appointed by whichever party to control or have authority over the places. That is why local council election is very important. And the second thing about PJD, there's so many highways in Province. Dash, the latest one, Dash. Dash doesn't really It's not a solution to the traffic jam on the city. And it's so expensive, few toast in just a few km. And I don't think people would use them all the while. You build this kind of highway to show the people, to show other nations that we have lots of highway in Damansara. It looks beautiful, but that's not the true solution to our traffic. More public transportation, not just LRT, not just MRT. First and last mile connectivity has to be there. So if we need to walk 5-10 minutes to our LRT station, that's not going to work. Most of us we build there just to show people. It's pointless. So I would suggest we have to have more free buses, more pedestrian-friendly walkways, people to cycle to the nearest LRT MRT station or take free buses right outside of the Taman to the LRT station or MRT stations. That will probably lessen the traffic jam around Taman Sarah.
Or what they don't want. I mean, that is the whole point of a referendum. But the downside of a referendum, number one, is
You take back the profits. That's very wrong because that disrupts our good quality life. Ben?
yes.
Did I answer that question?
Yes. Thank you. Perhaps we also do want to look at, if either of you will, to look at into very low-cost models of referendum. Basically online voting, for example. So that could actually increase the number of referendums that could be available at any time.
You're right. All this online thing now, these things are very cheap. I mean, the cost is not so expensive now. Even newspapers also, people go online nowadays. Sorry, but advertisement, that's why we have to change. A lot of things online, things are very simple. Even election also. I'm very much against all these posters, banners hanging all over the place. You don't treat our place with respect, but I have to put. Some of these candidates, they have, I don't know, they are very, they're great about print banner, poster. I also don't want to be high say, I also have to put up a respectable fight. But at the end of the day, I think NDPJ, you must come out, for election, just mark the areas where candidates can put and give them the so-called the lot. Correct or not? Okay, 1, 2, let's say 3 candidates, right? 7 places only you can put.
Question you want. The problem that it's not up is not because it was earlier, it's because it's not popular. So we need more of you to weigh in on the new questions for us to decide which one is going to be asked.
Yeah, but can we do the slide first?
Yes. Sorry, the reason why we're doing this is because we have wasted a lot of time before. Yeah. So please bear with us, but this is the format that we have decided on. Thank you.
And with my salary, I have to move all the way maybe to Rawang or to Seremban, I can afford a house, and that's not the solution. For youth, they want to live in the city, they also should have a place in the city. Thank you very much. For them until 50 years old, I need to give them a chance. So, I would like to say thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank my leader first for giving me this opportunity to contest in Damansara in such a huge area. Going against Goh Bing Sing also, and also the local boy, Mr. Tan Yim Tuan. I hope the voters will give me a chance. Give me a chance to start from here, and hopefully by next 1 or 2 terms, I will be as great as some opposition leaders. I always use opposition leaders as a good example because I don't want to attack them. I want to use them as a good example, and I learn from them also. Thank you very much.
Vote me in as a parliament candidate for Damansara. I will ring the alarm bell. Everyone will wake up. And when they wake up, they'll be on their toes. It's not my victory. It is your victory at the end of the day. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the first session. We have refreshments for you. We have approximately 25-minute break before we start for the second session where we will be meeting the candidates for P105. Please take this opportunity also to visit the restroom, and if you have any valuables, please take them with you because a new group is coming in to sit. Thank you very much again to the candidates for joining us today. Thank you.
Public participation， 文明的声音最重要的。 人民的看法、人民的决定是最重要的。所以我在好像 PJ 一个大的城市想到问题 ，any development plan 发展的规划批准等等，都必须通过我们的声音，就是我人民的声音，那个是最重要的。但是 don't forget this practice, this system is already in place 有在了，但是15年他们没有 practice。没有做过 ，That's why I think we have to come back again。所以我讲，这个大选在南曼沙拉，我们一个国会，一个州议员，一个市议员，对不对？
I shut the light feed started. The candidates have taken time off, precious time off their campaigning to be with us. We want to hear them and we want them to hear us, right? And this will be done smoothly. I ask for all your cooperation. If anybody is uncooperative, we have bouncers. Okay.
I hold a doctorate in organization theory of group. Okay. I'm a resident in PJ, Namakundu. What used to be called PJ Slatan and now became Namasara. If you look at the map, I can't understand how they draw boundaries anymore. It doesn't follow logic. Anyway, I stand for three ideas, three key ideas. Number one, truth matters. Objective truth matters. It's a very high idea. Secondly, rakyat matters. We just went to Campo Medan recent and came back today. I thought I was late. We arrived here about 2:35. But the event was 3 o'clock, so I was early. So, truth matters, rakyat matters, and thirdly, the economy matters. Each of these I can talk more, but given 2 minutes, I don't want to say more. I used to work in MITI, so economics is one of the areas I can talk about. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My name is Tingbok, Dr. Tingbok. You can call me Tembok. Okay? People ask me why I come out. My children, I have 3 children. My first son is a lawyer. My second son is an accountant. My younger daughter is a lawyer as well. So because of that, they are independent. I have been serving the public for the past 30 years. So now is my time, because my children all are big enough already. So it's my time to serve the people now. I just changed a platform to serve you better. I want to give to the PJ people is the service orientated. Being a lawyer for the past 30 years and being a chemist and in a business, I know all the social problems. I handle public complaint. Now I'm the president of the Strata Title Owner Association and I've been a councillor of MBS Steel for 1 term. So I understand the problem faced by the resident, especially the PJ. And we can see one side of the PJ is occupied by a well-educated and so-called rich people. But the other side of the PJ, actually they are very poor. And you can say most of them are B40, below B40. I went at this past 3 weeks, I went around.
Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chen Chong. I am contesting in P105, PJ Petaling Jaya constituency. So I advocate for a more sustainable Petaling Jaya. after years of development, I think we face a bottleneck. And the bottleneck is not just about the bottleneck in PJ, but be it environmental, social, or economical problems that's facing this country. We also need to find new ideas. We need to get rid of what happened in the past and start charting a new path for the people. So nationally, I advocate for the establishment of a climate change and global warming committee in the parliament, which I'm very passionate about. Secondly, I will also ask to have more check and balance in the parliament to strengthen our public account committee and to make sure that the people's voice are well represented in the parliament. And thirdly, at national level, I will also use my experience serving 2 terms as state assemblyman in Pahang and also 3 years of working experience in the opposition leaders office in the parliament from 2008 to 2011 to help me better in policy making. Locally, when we talk about sustainability, as my contestants, other contestants have said, there are also economic imbalances in PJ. So when we talk about sustainability, we also need to try.
Secondly, I will encourage local council election, because used to previous government, they work together with NGO, they won the election, they appoint the NGO to become a councillor, and when the government they got a popularity, they know the people will support them, and one by one they drop them. Marian Chin is one of them who been dropped because it's an NGO background. So I think local election is a must go in Selangor. And they always give an excuse that they cannot go. I don't think they cannot go because you can do it very simple based on the IC. They just have to set up a few counter, maybe 20, 30 counter. That election come. You just bring your IC and go there, you vote. Issuing of strata title, we have a conflict between the management, the NJMB and the resident. And we have some committee who take the money, CBP, and no action has been taken. So I think some of the committee tomorrow, they are going to make a police report and send me a memorandum on that. And it's a very serious, because enforcement problem. We have COB, we have many government agencies, but nobody can act. For example, if the committee of JMB abuse of power, take the money and run away, or use the money, for example, if somebody sue you, one of the residents sue you, I appoint a lawyer, I appoint a doctor to become my lawyer, I pay $1 million fees, $1 million as a legal fees. It's legal. But that is indirect appeal process. And we went to MACC, MACC, no, it's not my duty. Go to police. Police said, no, it's not my duty. COB said, I got no enforcement power. So it's bring you around. And I have many for the past 2 years been a president of the Strata Title Owner Association. We have been running up and down. We go and see KBKT, we go and see MACC, pushing us around. So we don't know what to do. And they
incompetent. The problem is in Selangor, nothing to do with KL. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to say this. I want to go to Parliament. I don't want to sit in MPPJ. I told Derek Fernandez he should run for mayor of MPPJ. Really, because he's qualified to be the mayor. He's very well trained, he knows the law. But I don't want to be a mayor. I want to go to Parliament because if you see the paper I distributed, I have some ideas in there. Please look at that, and if you have questions, I don't like the Slido nonsense, okay? Because it doesn't encourage us to do face-to-face. Send it to technology somewhere. I'm against it. So, but that aside, I want to say that local council election is my #1 priority. #1. Why? How many of you remember the Senator Atina Hapan report? Just put out your hand. Do you remember it? That's the foundation for the local council election. Tabled in Parliament in 1970. Can somebody say that I agree with you? That was what happened. But because of May 13, 1969, the government happily said we put the policy aside and never executed council elections. Guess what? I had a dad who stood for election in 1953 and won in Singapore. So we had elections before independence. But after 1969, with the Atina Hapan report, we banned all elections. I remember when I was in MIMOS, we funded local government electronic computerization. When I wrote to the SecGen and said, I want to do a pilot project with you, he said, he's my good friend from RNC as well. He said, KJ, on one condition, that you don't articulate elections. Can you imagine? That means there was a 3 years in public service. I'm serious. I started with Tun Razak, the father, not the son. I started with Tun Razak. My boss was Tan Sri Clifford Hubbard. Those of you who know him, SFX, you all know him, okay? He was my boss. You can ask him. There you go. So, but why are we not talking about corruption? Corruption is the #1 problem. I call one agenda ABC. I'm against bribery and corruption. That's simple as ABC. If all of us start speaking up against it, we will kill corruption because we will demand accountability and transparency. In fact, my kids did a poster for me and said, Dad, go for it. I said, what is it? They said, integrity and transparency. So that's a motto I'm propagating. But really what made me angry and decide to stand? In 2006, I went before Parliament. Special Committee on Integrity. February 13th, page report about corruption in the public service. I didn't point fingers. I just said what is wrong in 20. I was a whistleblower. Guess what? I never heard anything from Parliament. That's the reason I'm running today. Because I want to go to Parliament and get the answers to my own questions. Because, with due respect, all the people who sat up there, some are Tan Sri, some are retiring now, they didn't have answers. In fact, one MP, I went to him recently, I said, sir, this is my 20-page report, you didn't reply. He said, son, you have to work harder. Okay, I'm son and I have to work harder. But I worked 33 years in public service. I didn't compromise. I didn't steal 1 cent. I didn't donate free money. But what do you get? So recently I called Tan Sri Azhar and I say, hey, can you do me a dish from Sugatani? So, not Kronila, he's on the other side. Because Arif is my classmate. The previous speaker is my one classmate. Tan Sri Azhar said, John, I'll get you the report and the findings. 2006. How long ago was that? Now I said, sorry Azhar, even you might not be right because I'm going to get that to Parliament to find my own answers. I'm sick and tired of corruption. That is one of the reasons I stand. Minute. Okay, just one other point. Just now we went to Desa Mantari to walk around. Second time I've been there in my life. But you know what I saw? Hurt me. I'm sorry. It hurt me because ordinary people living terrible lives right next to my neighborhood. I'm Kampung Tugu on the other side of the highway. But why? They're Malaysians. Don't they deserve a standard of life? Don't they deserve a quality of life? What have we become? And yet, I'm sorry, I'm going to be very critical here. I drive in here, we're all driving fancy cars. In fact, my good friend Adrian was joking, saying, "Go Porsche was so loud." Okay, I don't know whose it is, I'm not picking on you, but the point is, it cannot be the same Malaysia. It cannot be two darjat Malaysia. It cannot be one set of laws for groups who get into Kajang prison instead of Sungai Buloh prison. And then another set of laws for crooks who can dictate when elections should be held. So guys, I want to go into Parliament. Please help me get into Parliament because I'm an angry older man. Thank you.
Sorry, we're down to just one mic. Okay, thank you very much for to all again. Gabungan Bertindak Malaysia recently published Manifesto Rakyat, and this is a manifesto that was painstakingly taken from numerous inputs and questionnaires that were distributed. So out of those 27 points, we will now look at the most relevant points of the Citizens Manifesto for Petaling Jaya. And I invite Chairman of my PJ, Jeffrey Fang, to present this. Thank you.
No? And that is PJS area, that's Samitari. No? He nearly cried when he went there the first time. Huh? Second time. I'm there for 5 years. No? And the problem that I'm facing to overcome for the income of people have reached a ceiling that an NGO cannot do anymore. So this time we are campaigning for a whole society approach, whereby first of all we have the opportunity to elect our candidates for MP. About 6 months from now, we are going to elect our aduns, and this time it will be a different approach completely, because we know I've been doing this, organizing these kind of events for since 2008, but things have not changed very much because we are addressing things in pieces, you know. And that's why my PJ, we do not look at one taman, but we look at the whole structural approach to solve it. So let me start by saying that this is the PJ that we ideal. We want it to be a livable city. Alright? And over here is the PJ that we know. Desa Ria is even worse than Desa Melayu. Much worse. Alright? And there are crimes there, and even the walls are missing. No? So, terrible place, because the whole of the JMB have failed. Alright? And the COB is a real problem, with a big disconnect between the state and the federal. That is why it's so important that federal aduns, councillors must all work in tandem. We have asked for public participation, and we ran right up to the federal level, see the minister, wanting a local council election, because that is important for us to have a voice. But so far, for all the 3 terms, they have no voice at all. Alright? Supposed to have a voice, but everything is in form and not in substance. No? Public hearing on budgeting and all, we've been through all that. We have hit a ceiling. Alright? So, without the support of the adun that we elect and the MP that we elect. And that is why this time we are saying that we want a people-centric elected representative. Bring us to the table, we want to be part of it. Right? So, there are a lot of problems on Trump. Public transportation, B40 now coming to be B60, developers crowding around prestigious area, transit-oriented development especially, lots of condominiums surrounding all the main areas where the people that need it is the B40 to be near the transport areas. We got stress cities, we got low-cost houses problem. JME and COB is the biggest problem that we are facing. But we've got politically appointed councillors are one of our biggest hindrance at the moment. Alright? And now, of course, we need to filter through our cities. But it is not about working harder anymore. That is what we've been working for the last few terms. I've been saying that I'm giving you free transport, I'm giving you hampers, I'm giving you this. That is not their job. Alright? So they are working faster, harder, but no effect. Unless they start to integrate the effort, they will not be able to have time on the ground. But you can actually merge it together. So there will be a top-down, bottom-up approach. And this continuation is very important. So that's why when we vote MP, it's very important that the MP will know how to work with the 3 aduns that they have at the bottom. Alright? They may be from different parties, but put party aside, it's the people that you must come together. So I'm worried about our councillors. Our councillors are divided into 3 parties as well, and they don't see eye to eye as well. Alright? Local council election and other things. So that's a whole thing that we're talking about. It took a long time for us to organize the community together. When the tamans no longer say that I'm only concerned about my taman. Now we begin to look at things holistically already. I think the community has become prihatin. Now it's the kerajaan that needs to be prihatin and work with us. So with love for our PJ, and at the same time with SDGs and all, there's a framework for us to do. Now is the political will. We need MPs that support people-centric, principled, and honest. Alright? So just want to let potential candidate know that don't start from scratch again. No? Once you come in, hit the ground running, because we've already been running. Don't let us start and follow you running one more round. You have to start all over again. Alright? Thank you very much.
MPJ has actually headed a particular project which is to build MP profiling portfolio, right? This is a portal. Every newsworthy item about them, we will also upload it. That means by GE16, when you wanted to check a candidate, you will have a single place where you can go and find all the links to all the information. Candidate charged for corruption, it will be there, right? Candidate gave a really good speech in Parliament, it will be there. Both the positive and the negative. So as voters, we will be empowered. Often we remember only the good things, forget about the bad things, right? And until right after the elections, then we are reminded very forcefully, right? So this is a good place for us to keep our records about each candidate.
And things like that. I mean, even Adun were not allowed to stand in the full board meeting. And even public were not allowed to enter full board meeting in Maduris Bandaraya one time. So don't get me wrong that I'm a conservative. I'm just saying that, or suggesting that after talking to city councillors, there are of course bad city councillors, but there are also some city councillors with heart to serve. My conclusion is that instead of advocating for local council election, we should single focus on mayor election. Local council election, yes, we need to elect 20 over of them for one city council. Mayor, we have one. And the executive power mainly primarily rests on is a much more important role than city councillors. So I would advocate for mayor election first before city council election. Thank you.
Excuse me, I just want to have a quick question of understanding. It's a very simple one. Scotland title, let's say if COB don't take action and we have a mayor election, we complain to the mayor for them to take action against COB. Would that be how we would go about things? Then we go and talk about local council election.
We'll come back to that.
Wait for the question for the floor. I just want to differ a little bit. I wrote a case study on Quantum Local Authority about 40 years ago and used it as a case in my MBA class I was teaching in George Washington University. True story. And I gave Sharif Shamsuddin's name to the guy. Some of them called him to ask, this is true or not? Tell you the dynamic Timbalan. His boss was Najib, by the way. But I just want to differ a little bit. You have a right to express your ideas, and I'm going to say slightly differently, because I followed the Atin Arpan report, and I couldn't get the report anywhere except University Malaya Library. I had to borrow for half a day, go and shadow a copy and give back the original. Because everybody forgot about it. Okay? I studied it in local government in University Malaya under that subject. Why I would like to see local council elections in all cities of the country. Cities. PJ is a city. Kuantan is a city. Ipoh and so on and so forth. You don't just need mayors. Actually, a mayor never makes big decisions. The council makes the decision. Check the law. All 24 councillors plus mayor makes the decision. Mayor is just the moderator of the meeting. But we've given, they're all ex-PTD, my colleagues, okay? You name all 5 of them, the last 5 are all good friends of mine. Dates back to the guy who put up the tall building, Nola Sata, or Matno Badu. I can go down, Emran Kade, I can go down to 5. If you get councillors elected, and my idea is very simple. 24 council, Kompong Tunku is one precinct. So you select somebody who lives in Kapong Tunku to become the Kapong councillors to make decisions. They have no unilateral executive authority. I'm talking as a PTD also. Neither does ministers have in as the KSU. The KSU is the controlling officer. I hope you all understand that. The CFO and the CIO is the SecGen or the mayor. But they don't have absolute authority. So I am in favor of elections with no qualms, no more excuses. Let's get it done. Thank you very much.
Just a short word. Not the mayor. Mayor is to chair the meeting, run administration. That's all. So we need an experienced mayor. If you have a mayor election, you are gone. Because all the rich men will come and throw money and become elected as a mayor. Then how to lead all the councillors? And that is not practical. That's all I want to say. Thank you very much.
This is such an important topic, so the civil society and residents cannot be left out of it. Everywhere that we go for, everybody is asking for local council election. But yet in all the manifesto, it doesn't appear. Except for Kuala Lumpur. They want local council election in Kuala Lumpur. Alright? Because they have no adults there and no councillors. But when we are asking for local council election over here, we are referring back to the manifesto Rakyat, which is actually saying not only councillors but also mayors. I think we want to put it back. We are actually going for mayor and councillor elections. No? If you are a rich man, whatever, you can't perform, no matter how rich you are, the next round we will accept you. But then the power is in the people, not in the party politics. So questions first, and then if you have time, we go back to answer the minister.
Yes, yes, yes. Teacher? Okay, number 3. Empower Parliamentary Select Committee to scrutinize the appointment of MACC and Election Commission chiefs. Okay, please hold it for a while. Huh? Okay, right. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, thank you. Number 4, set up an independent police.
Wisconsin. Okay, so we have a complex situation. We have experienced all of it, local school. But today the problem is not the school. The problem today is the teaching institution. Teacher training colleges have gone to rock bottom to become rubbish, to become teachers. Sorry, I have to say it in a very rude way or in a crude way. But so the problem is bigger than just the schools. Today, most of the children, grandchildren are in international schools, all of us here. Okay, our children, grandchildren, my daughter is homeschooling them. She said, Dad, I don't believe in this system. Okay, fine. And the kid is super smart. He said, Grandpa, I got 10.0. A for everything. Okay? So the choice, the government has destroyed the schooling system. We have to rebuild it up brick by brick. So just making a general statement about education, we are not going to solve the problem. No, I am. But today we are already split into 3 different school systems. Integrate, it was a Bahasa versus Mandarin versus English issue in the past. Today it's equally there. My kids speak all 3. My son was Tamansi head boy. I asked him, he said, Dad, of course I'm going to deliver my acceptance speech in Malay. He speaks Mandarin and English as well. But you see, we subverted the system through our family structure, but the schools are not able to do that. If you go outlying country areas, Mara Science colleges are fine, Royal Military College is fine, Malay College is fine, but it's not the same for regular schools. Thank you.
I just want to correct one perception. Since 2013, teachers training colleges in Malaysia, anyone trying to get in, you need a minimum of 5 A's at SPM. Okay? Minimum of 5 A's at SPM. So please, let's be sure that we have current information. A lot of information, you may be in the past. I'm not saying that's not bad things. But I think anybody who graduated and became a teacher after 2017, 2018 was a top student in the school. Not somebody we look down on. Right? Okay, so thank you for clarifying that maybe. I still think it sounds like a yes. But on the mind, articulate your view there. Right? Let's move to the next question. Okay, number 7, prioritize health by raising the health ministry's budget so that it exceeds 4% of GDP within 5 years. Okay, maybe, but you can put in your. Okay.
We have to destroy the AP system, then everything will fall in place.
Okay, all right. Number 10, declare a national climate emergency and protect all forests in line with Malaysia's commitment to the Rio Declaration. Okay, 3 yeses. Just have 3 more questions. Okay, I support amendments to Article 14(1)(b) of the Constitution to ensure that overseas born children of Malaysian women are able to obtain citizenship by operation of law. 3 yeses, thank you. Number 12, would you encourage the government at all levels to adopt SDG 2030 and to work holistically in partnership with all stakeholders? Yes, okay, all 3 yeses again. Alright. I support having political appointees in GLC companies. Okay, 1 no, 2 no. When elected, I'm willing to declare my assets. Elected, not ministerial appointment, when elected, right? Yes.
I've declared my assets before contesting.
Okay, fantastic. I think that is the new Dr. KJ as well.
Same with GI. They insisted all to declare before we...
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for leading the way, because I think every GE we see that there are thought leaders and people who are pushing the standards up. And
transport is good, except that we don't have area pricing for movement of transport. We need to think about it seriously. For instance, because I work in government, I can say this quite publicly. When the first LRT was suggested by EPU to be executed, it was only 4.3 billion to build it. But at that time, Mahathir was pushing his proton. So he said, if you put the LRT, then the proton will sell. So he became a marketing salesman and he forgot the infrastructure needs. And we're paying the price for it. Okay, now I don't know what it costs to build those new structures. So the point is, we need to begin to think long term. And draft structure plans are designed to build long term thinking. So for instance, I used to talk with both Edmund Duran and Derek Fernandez, both good friends. Edmund had 3 houses in a row outside of Old Town, PJ, okay? I was suggesting that we build senior citizen homes. And I said I will take a share and buy my one because we are also growing old, you know. But we have lost that capacity to think like that and work collaboratively to take care of our own. All the older people, I'm 72, all the older people are actually our own people. We don't have strangers here, but we don't take care of them. Neither are our homes built to take care. I have a good friend on the hill up there, Dr. Winston Simon, and his wife is Stanley. We were all same batch in university. They had built a house in such a way that they had a neighborhood home for their parents, right within their structure. See, these are ideas. Singapore has already done it. Singapore does it with the apartment complexes, you know. We're just not imaginative and creative. Or we're just filled with corruption so badly that we can't see beyond our own noses. I leave it there. Thank you very much.
We didn't expect the aging populations to hide in the Casing Hill. So we need more garden, friendly garden for those people, retired people, to walk around, you know, and this exercise. I think we need more of that, of the facility, first. Second, about anti-corruption. Everybody will say they're against the corruption. I mean, we're practical. I want to be very practical about this. So you need a system of check and balance. You need an independent MACC. You need to give more fund to the MACC to function. You need to train them, the good people there, to check. That is the only way to fight anti-corruption. The people have to be aware of it. The people have to report. So the system has to come into place. It's no point talking, everybody say, now we have three parties now fighting each other. They are pointing at each other, say that your party is all court caster, Mahkamah caster, but the other side also the same thing. So don't believe. Believe in the system. The system must be in place. That's what I want to say. Okay? Secondly, within 100 days, what I want to do. The first thing I can do it within 100 days is to JMB, COB, Commissioner Appealing.
Bullet questions on politicians, what do you do within the first 100 days? So as if, 100 days, something magical could happen. I must say that the change will take long term, or sometimes medium term. But on the first 100 days, there are some, at least, prerequisite preparation that can be done. And to me, it's important to ensure that, on one hand, the service center must be up and running and efficiently, to set up a good team, to make sure we can relay and we can engage with people quickly, respond to their grievances also quickly and professionally. Working together with ADUN, Ali Majlis, MBBJ, and all those network and linkage have to be set up quickly, so that we can also, on my predecessor, YB Maria's, some files have been handed over, and I'll continue with that, with those things. Secondly, I talk about Tibet education, and that's very close to my heart, because right from the IO Malaysia time, we have engaged experts, and we have engaged with a lot of volunteers to draft some plans and how can we assist the people and the youngsters so that they can be equipped with higher skills, high value jobs, so that they can get high value jobs. So on that,
transport is good, except that we don't have area pricing for movement of transport. We need to think about it seriously. For instance, because I work in government, I can say this quite publicly. When the first LRT was suggested by ETU to be executed, it was only 4.3 billion to build it. But at that time, Mahathir was pushing his proton. So he said, if you put LRT, then the proton will sell. So he became a marketing salesman, and he forgot the infrastructure needs. And we're paying the price for it. Okay, now I don't know what it costs to build those new structures. So the point is, we need to begin to think long term, and our structure plans are designed to build long term thinking. So for instance, I used to talk with both Edmund Duran and Derek Fernandez, both good friends. Edmund had 3 houses in a row outside of Old Town, PJ, okay? I was suggesting that we build senior citizen homes. And I said I will take a share and buy my one because we are also growing old, you know. But we have lost that capacity to think like that and work collaboratively to take care of our own. All the older people, I'm 72, all the older people are actually our own people. We don't have strangers here, but we don't take care of them. Neither are our homes built to take care. I have a good friend on the hill up there, Dr. Winston Simon, and his wife is Stanley. We were all same batch in university. They had built a house in such a way that they had a neighborhood home for their parents, right within their structure. See, these are ideas. Singapore has already done it. Singapore does it with the apartment complexes, you know. We're just not imaginative and creative. Or we're just filled with corruption so badly that we can't see beyond our own noses. I leave it there. Thank you very much.
We didn't expect the aging populations to hide in the passing hill. So we need more garden, friendly garden for those people, retired people, to walk around, you know, and this exercise. I think we need more of that, of the facility first. Second, about anti-corruption. Everybody will say they're against the corruption. I mean, we're practical. I want to be very practical about this. So you need a system of check and balance. You need an independent MACC. You need to give more fund to the MACC to function. You need to train them, the good people there, to check. That is the only way to fight anti-corruption. The people have to be aware of it. The people have to report. So the system has to come into place. It's no point talking, everybody say, now we have three parties now fighting each other. They are pointing at each other, say that your party is all court caster, Mahkamah caster, but the other side also the same thing. So don't believe. Believe in the system. The system must be in place. That's what I want to say. Okay? Secondly, within 100 days, what I want to do. The first thing I can do it within 100 days is to JMB, COB, Commissioner Appealing.
Bullet questions on politicians, what do you do within the first 100 days? So as if, 100 days, something magical could happen. I must say that the change will take long term or sometimes medium term. But on the first 100 days, there are some at least prerequisite preparation that can be done. And to me, it's important to ensure that on one hand, the service center must be up and running and efficiently, to set up a good team, to make sure we can relay and we can engage with people quickly, respond to their grievances also quickly and professionally. Working together with Adun, Ali Majlis, MPPJ, and all those network and linkage have to be set up quickly, so that we can also, on my predecessor, YB Maria's, some files have been handed over, and I'll continue with that, with those things. Secondly, I talk about Tibet education, and that's very close to my heart, because right from the IO Malaysia time, we have engaged experts, and we have engaged with a lot of volunteers to draft some plans, and how can we assist the people and the youngsters so that they can be equipped with higher skills, high value jobs, so that they can get high value jobs. So on that,
whereby you can actually see it graphically, then you can zoom in to whichever constituency you want to look at. But if you want to look specifically for any constituency, and if you know the number, you can basically go there quite fast. The next thing is, you can also look at all the states, who is the people involved in the state.
33 years I was in public service, no profile because we are invisible in that sense, you understand? But after I retired, I wrote 650 articles in Malaysia Kini without taking a cent for it. But that's not in your profile, so think about it.
You can start to include that. So once you tell us where all your articles are, you upload. Because the articles will be on the profile side, where you sort of reflect on his thinking thought. But for us, we are looking at not just thinking, but we also look at action. Alright, so if you look at Uncle Kentang, alright, you see a lot of things that he do on community, but does he have the intellectual capacity? Alright, so this is where we want you all to make evaluation. Alright.
Okay, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end of the session. We need to wrap up early because I think both the candidates have other places to be. Thank you very much for being with us to the bitter end. So we just want to give you both an opportunity, just in 2 or 3 minutes. What are the final words that you want to leave with the voters of PJ ahead of polling day?
I choose to serve at this later age in life, not because I have nothing better to do. I have 6 grandchildren to worry about. But I'm sick and tired of the fact that we've become so corrupted. The service I served has become so corrupted. When the former Chief Secretary to the Government of Malaysia said he got 30,000 a month and he didn't know why he got it, that's the epitome of corruption. So I'm going in to fight my way in there. I work in MITI and Rafida was my boss. She was the best minister you can ever serve because she is just very high standard and high demand. Because you all heard about AP and all that. Not all of that is true, okay? But so the point is, I want to serve. I want to serve because I know how to do it. I know how to go in there and get it done. I know how to go in there, get it done, and walk out still clean. Thank you very much.
I think isu tu dah sebenarnya tak berapa dibangkitkan, dan Maria memang saya satu standard yang tinggi dan saya perlu memenuhi hasuan rakyat dan supaya saya boleh mendekati standard yang ditetapkan oleh Maria. Tapi pada masa yang sama saya juga membawa aspirasi yang baru dan mungkin pendekatan yang berbeza kepada BJ, dan saya rasa ini juga boleh memberikan keyakinan kepada rakyat untuk menyokong harapan.